Everyone's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be alright. Just don't give in to the fright, because we're gonna ride this wave through the voidal night. Everyone's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be alright. Just don't give in to the fright, 'cause we're gonna ride this wave through the dark night. Oh yeah, sing it with me, baby. Oh yeah, that's what's happening right now. Aloha kakaheya. Hey everyone. How's it going? It's Mirakle King here. Thank you so much for tuning in and beaming in with me for this Communiversity portal. I am pretty excited and energized, even though I have gotten very little sleep and I am a little bit goofy and a little bit giggly today. But that being said, I just a few hours ago came out of a 3-night, 4-day dark voidal room experience. And I, on a really vulnerable level, actually, I kind of went into this experience knowing that I would have to really look at some deep patterns of my own. I have been feeling a lot of despair, a lot of self-worth fear around my own confidence in stepping out as the full miracle. And I have been back in the States for the last 5 or 6 weeks, and I've just finally kind of caught myself and all the different dimensional aspects of me and kind of brought them in to a grounded state of integration just in the last couple of weeks. It's been a good almost a little over 6 months since I've really grounded back in Mount Shasta after so many travels and journeys abroad. And I was really feeling like questioning a lot of things, even though I'm having these serious, deep reflections around what it means to ground and anchor back into the matrix, even though I've really freed things up. And what does that mean? The guidance has been to come back and go through a lot of 3-dimensional logistics around really anchoring myself back in, actually legally changing my name to Mirakle in the court system right now. And yeah, just kind of going into the United States of America and what it means to embrace the matrix, as everyone's embracing some level of getting all of their life together. And some people are super thriving, and there's amazing projects happening, and people are just going back to normal. And I'm just watching all of this and observing all of this and seeing as the winds are changing and blowing, and there's this deep undertone of both like, oh, how am I gonna like actually marry myself back into the matrix, and at the same time feeling like all of this false evidence appearing real, and this like slowing down and moving away from sort of the energy, the electricity of travel, and connected many dots on my journeys. And in that integration, looking at these patterns in my own world, in my own created reality, in my own hologram around, wow, this is how most of you are on being able to relate to me through my Communiversity Portal video streaming service here. It's like a lot of you are super grounded. A lot of you are anchored into the three-dimensional matrix. And I myself have barely had like pinky or a pinky toe in this matrix, especially in the last 4 years. So that being said, it's been a real struggle. It's almost been like kind of having to downgrade and go into this like journey work into the deep unconscious, subconscious mire of my own dissertation, my own thesis of like, what do I represent to you? What do I represent for Communiversity Portal? Who am I when it comes to being an avatar, being a character, right, in this holographic illusionary world? And what does it mean to come back in the matrix? I played that game for 15 years as Mirakle King, and that part of my persona is still with me, but a lot of who that was as an avatar, as a moniker, as a name, as a personality, completely died 5 years ago when I had my rites of passage with the balcony in Ubud, Bali. And so I'm just sharing in a moment of humility that I too am going through the ringers, peeling away the layers of the onion and just looking at like worth issues and looking at confidence issues and looking at material, financial capabilities and generating manifestation of abundance issues. And all of these things are kind of up. And I know I'm not the only one. So I really felt called today to really share from this vulnerable state. And this was kind of coming up to a crescendo to this Mother's Day weekend when I really felt the call that I needed to go into this deep cleanse and not just do a 3-day water fast, a liquid water fast, water only, but also to go into the voidal room, darkness, light deprivation. Obviously, I've talked about this a lot. I've done a number of these kinds of experiences, and I've gone in for a very long time in order to become Mirakle and spontaneously regenerate my life and my spine and my body. But I've also done smaller series of these experiences. And so this time I knew that it's not really about how long you go in. Sometimes when people are embracing the dark room experience for the first time, whether it's like you've got the inspiration from people on YouTube or myself or from other influencers, or you've gotten the inspiration from Montauk Chia or just other people who have dark room retreats that are in Thailand, that are in Bali, that are in Oregon or Mexico, and these areas, the dark room is still a pretty neophyte experience. It hasn't really caught on yet, but it's catching because I see it as the future for humanity. Once humanity and every individual decides to move beyond the reliance on just meditation in the void for just a couple hours a day, or even half a day, or even to use entheogens to create a dimethyltryptamide DMT experience to really open up to other dimensions. Eventually, you exhaust all of these things, and the next experience is something that's so ancient, it's so deeply inter-evolved into the mastery process of self-care, and that is to actually go into the cave, like many rishis, sages, mystics, saints did for eons of time up to this level. The Christ consciousness, the Buddhic awareness, the bodhisattvas, the yogis, the lamas in the Himalayas, they would spend long periods either in an actual cave that was outfitted for light deprivation, in long periods, even up to 3 years, 3 months, 3 days, or they would do it in a monastic setting where there would be other monks feeding them a curated process as well as sustenance. So that being said, I think what is really crucial to share right now is that it accelerates the inner evolutionary process. Completely blank slates your innerology software and brings your hardware back into a full reboot. And if we're going to use our body as sort of a supernatural computer simulation, then when you choose to make the commitment for a certain amount of time to immerse yourself in a voidal room, light deprivation chamber or experience or retreat, it gives your whole entire system a complete regenerative reboot. And you automatically have to face all of the things that you do with your life in the 5th sensory world, in the holographic illusionary world. And we spend so many hours looking at screens. We interact with people all around the world. We are constantly being barraged in our neuroendocrinology, our neuropathic stress levels, that we don't even realize that to actually go into a blank computer screen, and it's kind of like when your screen completely goes kaput, or you haven't been able to upgrade to the latest OS system and you run out of memory, and so you have to completely shut down your computer, and sometimes you have to completely clear out and reboot your entire computer in order to download the new OS. And so that, in a way, is what the light deprivation voidal room experience is all about. As I was saying earlier, it's not really about the amount of time. Sometimes there's a little bit of this competition, which I've seen curating other members of my Communiversity Alliance team, as well as people who come to me for assistance and support on a private level. I see a lot of enthusiasm to want to do the dark room for like 7 days on their first time, or for 10 days or 2 weeks. And the fact is most of the time, 75 to 80% of the time, those people do not last the duration of the time that they enthusiastically say, oh yeah, I'm gung-ho, I can do this, I'm ready for it, I've been a faster, I've been a meditator for 10 plus, 15 plus years, I've cleansed, I've detoxed the body, this is the next step, and they get all excited, and what happens is they lose the core energetic, thematic, and intentional field of what can actually occur and actualize in a light deprived retreat experience, which for me, 4 days may not seem like a lot. Maybe it may seem like a lot to you, but for me, I've done upwards to a semi-light deprivation of up to 70 days. And I've done weeks at a time. So the fact is, it doesn't matter the time. It's the quality of the time and how clear your coherent intention is before you close that door and you turn off the lights and you're fully in the womb. And when you're in the womb, all lights are off. And the only light that is really engendered to come up in your innerology is the light that comes from within. The light that comes from within all the other 4 senses, and right here, the 6th sense, or the first eye. When you take away these eyes that see a lot of only the 3-dimensional illusion in the matter-to-matter world, you begin to open your thoughts. And believe me, every time I go through one of these experiences, it's like a waterfall of thoughts. Like I am just being barraged with so many thoughts, crazy thoughts, stupid thoughts, analytical mind thoughts. Like we're having crazy hail right now. It's just like every single one of those pieces of hail is just like boom, 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 hitting me on every aspect of my reality or what I think my reality is. And of course, if I'm already going in with patterns and habits and behaviors that I'm consciously needing to address in full humility, then I know I'm just going to get hit in the dark. But the thing is, if you can stick through it, the only thing out there is you and consciousness. There's nothing else. And of course, just drinking water also helps, because then you're not attached to matter, feeding the body. You begin to realize the body wants to drag you into these attachments, whether they're psychological, whether they're emotional, whether they're addictive, whether they're little subtle things that you do every day and you don't even realize that you're doing them, and then you're like eating and you're snacking, you're munching, or whatever it is. All these little things have thought patterns. They have vrittis. They have these subtle samskaras that are attached to everything that we put into our mouth. So for me, going into this light deprivation experience this last weekend, and then also really choosing not to have any food and just drink water, it just gives you this full perspective of full immersion. And I can say right now, I was super humbled and in some ways very surprised, because I knew that I would only have 3 nights and 4 days for this experience, that this would actually be one of my shortest light deprivation immersions, self-care mastery to the fullest potential. But I was really able to move through a lot of circuits and really dissolve a lot of patterns and interrupt those circuits that were no longer serving me, and to really observe the observer and witness the witness of what's really going on in my life, and how I am self-defeating myself, how I am contributing to my own self-sabotaging, and looking at those little subtle unconscious, subconscious patterns. And when I'm in those patterns, all the gratitude for life goes away. All the appreciation for what you have in your life and what you've done to this point to get to this moment, all your experiences, all the people that have helped you to get to this moment, that love you and care for you and support you as physically in your 3D world, as well as multidimensionally in the non-physical world. And everything goes away except focusing on those very dense, analytical mind, gross patterns. And whew, I'm telling you, it is super humbling, because when you're in it, it's like everything else disappears that's good. And you are just in this molasses of just like trying to like get out of this, like open the heart and open the belly and clear out the cobwebs and just really just like wrench yourself free and lift yourself up through this muck and this mire. We are so living in this culture that prides itself on positivity, prides itself on moving so much electricity. And we are so good at manifesting and creating and making lots of money and creating residual income through programs and teachings and all of these things that I used to do for 15 years. And I know many others that are dear friends of mine that are having incredible success with this. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying I had to go through my own stubborn wall of like, how can I go back to this life as a totally cultural creative, influencer, teacher, lead by example with humility, and not concentrate on this circuit of this spiritual materialism, spiritual bypass, where we're constantly the slave to our creations. We are constantly a slave to our social influencing. we're constantly a slave to the monetization of all these things. And this really is a conundrum for me, okay? So I'm being really honest and just radically authentic today, because I just need to express some of the things that I'm moving through. And I would love, as I move along here in this transmission, for you to leave some comments below on if you can relate, first, to what I'm speaking about, and two, I'm asking for your help. I am fully, honestly, and vulnerably asking for what is it that I, as Mirakle Weihua Lokahi King, can step into my full creatorship, my full presence, and all that I am, and everything that I've done, and all my past lives in this life up to this moment right here, and all my transmissions that some of you have been following. And I ask, how can I support and serve you better? What are the topics? What are the things that you're most needing right now? Is it that you're needing more group immersions online? Are you needing more individual, private, one-on-one clientele type of coaching experiences? Honestly, I've had this huge stubborn wall to only doing things online, even though I know everyone's doing it and everyone's having success. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people are, because I'm still of the proponent of actually touching you. I'm in the proponent of actually hugging you and high-fiving you and singing a song with you and interacting our auras in person in a live experience. Some of those things are coming back online with everything unlocking in the last couple months, but at the same time, it's not happening as quickly or as strongly as the online world that has more taken over. I would love to know, leave in the comments below, what it is that you can reflect back to me that you're needing. What kind of topics, what kind of themes? Maybe there's things that I'm just completely in a gray area about, or I just have blinders up to, that you can give some positive feedback loop to. Because most of what I really enjoy transmitting to you is exactly what I went through. I have to transmit what I'm tuning into, what I'm streaming, what I'm channeling in the moment, and my personal experiences, the trials and tribulations that I sense out there that people are navigating, as well as my own. And I think right now we're at a time where things have to get really freaking vulnerable. Things have to get really, 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 really deeply human and radically real about what the heck is going on. And so this is a call out to you right here. I see you. I'm loving you. I'm feeling you right here. And I'm asking for some reflection. I'm asking, this isn't about monetizing my channel. This isn't about just about getting my work out more. This is about genuinely wanting to create amazing, radically real content with Communiversity Portal. And I'm open to even you, if you're feeling called to come on the channel. Maybe one of you has something that I haven't been able to see, that you would like to be on a call with me on Communiversity Portal. So I'm inviting this full open source, relaxed heart, and awakened mind invitation, so that we can come into a coherent, cohesive, resonant field together. And I'm really asking for your support in this context, as I'm continuing to create outlines and different content in my new web portal, epic synapse point, mind mapping, heart mapping of what I'm going to be bringing out to the world as Mirakle King in this very challenging time for the world. and huge transitions, as I've talked about, and I don't need to repeat them here. This is more of a one-to-one, me to the group of all of you who have chosen to actually listen to me routinely. And maybe it's that I need to do a challenge of doing this once a week instead of once a month. Maybe my endurance field has to increase. I'm really open to some reflection from all of you. I really actually need it. And I am continuously wanting to show up to evolve and to better the content of how I can reach you and even more people who will really assimilate, integrate, and be inspired by what it is that I have, because I have so much to share and I feel like I'm barely touching the surface. I am so grateful to all of you for being part of this vulnerable transmission. Yeah, this is just a firm exhale. And my gift right now is this simple mantra that I came up with in the second night of the Voidal Room light deprivation experience. So you can sing it with me. Everyone's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be alright. Just don't give in to this fright. 'Cause we're gonna ride this wave through the voidal night. Everyone's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be alright. Just don't give in to the fright. 'Cause we're gonna ride this wave through the voidal night. One more time. Everyone's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be alright. Just don't give in to the fright. 'Cause we're gonna ride this wave through the voidal night. Yeah, we're gonna ride this wave through the voidal night. Yeah, we're gonna ride this wave through this dark night. We're gonna ride the wave, you and me, through this dark night. Sending you so much love, family. Thank you so much for being part of Communiversity Portal. Thanks for hearing me and my heart, my soul. Super wishing you an amazing, incredibly, radically authentic, super real day or night, wherever you are in the world. And please smash that like button and share this transmission. I am Mirakle, King of Communiversity Portal. Thank you so much for joining me. Mahalo ke akua. Aloha nui.